When the pandemic started, the city, it was so clear to everyone that families needed help immediately. And there were such a myriad of issues that families were facing: housing, food, childcare, that we knew getting people flexible support was the way to do that and to do that quickly. So we connected a guaranteed income program as a part of a national movement. As Mayor Carter joined the Mayors for Guaranteed Income, he was one of the first mayors to join. We knew we wanted to get a pilot started to both provide more evidence about this type of program and policy, but also, again, get cash to families quickly. So we launched a program in 2020 and we connected it to CollegeBound. And at that time, that was families in St. Paul that had infants. And we also knew that at the time during the pandemic, families with young kids and infants were particularly hard hit.
We announced CollegeBound, the idea of CollegeBound, in my inaugural address when I first got sworn into office. And the truth is, we announced a lot of things right at the same time. We were trying to figure out kind of how we were going to launch the administration. And by the time when I mentioned it, there's this big, huge, rousing round of applause. And by the time I finished that speech, I had at least a handful of text messages from residents and from banks and businesses saying, "Hey, whatever that is that you were just talking about, we want to be a part of it." The truth is, what made it rise to the top so quickly is the public response that we got from it. Our community was really interested in seeing this. They saw the value.
CollegeBound Saint Paul is basically an opportunity for us to send a message to every baby that's born in our city and that moves into our city, that we believe in them and we believe in their future, and that we're coming together as a community to help them save for their future education. I'm 27 years old. I have a daughter. Her name is Rain. She will be 5. She just turned 4 February 18th. I was online and I was Googling some college opportunities for my daughter. I recently graduated from a program that gave me $10,000, and right under that, there was the College Bound opportunity. And then they also stated that they started my daughter an account in 2020, well, because she was born in 2020. So they offered me the College Bound Boost opportunity. I filled out the paragraphs, and a couple months later, they let me know that I was randomly selected.
I became familiar with CollegeBound actually when I gave birth to my now 2-year-old son. I believe they gave me like the information in the hospital, and upon leaving the hospital, I think I seen like some poster boards or ads about it, and so then I inquired. I wasn't quite ready to enroll right away because I wanted to learn more, and I had questions, so I actually called. And surprisingly, when I got a phone call back, it was like very pleasant conversation, uh, a great explanation of what it was about and how like it would benefit my child in the future. And I'm a futuristic thinker, so why would I not be involved in this? So it was like a no-brainer. It was truly a no-brainer.
What I appreciate about this approach is we know that when families do better economically, kids do better by every other measure of success, whether it is in academics, in health, and in other places. So I really appreciate this pilot because I think it shows how government can do that kind of work differently and invest in families differently.
Trust in families, respect for families, the dignity for families, that's really at the core of what we're trying to do. So use that in both the design and the evaluation of your program.
At a point where I was working 3-4 jobs when I actually became a part of the program, I was able to cut back 2 jobs. So for me mentally, that was really big because I was always in a state of mind where I'm stressed or I'm rushing or I'm taken away from my family.
When I think about why these approaches are so important, I think whole family system approaches really sort of speak to the context of families' lives. in a far more meaningful way than the way in which we have traditionally provided services or programs.
And research also shows that there is social emotional development that is positively impacted in both the children and also the families when they have a college savings account started for them at a young age.
I was able to cut back, and that for me, I didn't realize how much mental strain that was going to take off of me at the time. But being where I'm at now, being able to afford things, give my kids the things they need, and not have to always go to work, but be able to give them the time, that was really, really big. And I noticed, like, I sleep better. Like, I can go to sleep at night knowing that there's food in my fridge. My kids have clothes and a washer and dryer because they have clean clothes.
There was time where we spent just understanding the programs and how it would impact it, but then also worked with our partners at the Department of Human Services in the state to understand where there was flexibility, looking at the policies, and DHS was a real partner in understanding what needed to be done, how this would work within the state and federal law so that families could participate and not lose other benefits, or at least have full information about where the risk was.
So it's been 5 years since I was able to actually save money, and to be able to do that now is like, it's rewarding, and I love that feeling. I love being able to say, if there's an emergency, I'm not in fear, I'm not defeated.
So, financially, I was not financially stable as a child. My mother never went to college. She didn't know anything about college or saving. So when I went to college, I was in debt all the way up until last year.
Education-wise, I have been able to, so my child now is in high school. She's gonna be in her senior year coming up this fall. I'm very excited about that. But I have been able to get her in tutoring, get her in some programming, make sure that affordability of the programming, but also I think that we kind of forget about those other things like transportation to these places. So that's really big because she's pretty much a very independent girl, but enrolling your kids into a program and making sure they have the things to be at the program is one thing, but then I think we kind of forget, especially with our older children, like, how are they going to do this? How do they get from here to there? So being able to add those pieces together, and that's big for her. Me being more stable now and having the extra funding has also helped my children.
It's possible, right? That it is actually possible to invest in children and in families in a really direct, concrete way, and that it can be done. I think we also learned that families, it gives them the space and place and the breathing room to really focus on their well-being. When you're hustling and grinding, trying to, get from day to day, it is hard to be your best self, to be your best parent, to be your best worker. And I think with guaranteed income and with what we've learned with CollegeBound is if you can create a little bit of space and place for families, they thrive. And isn't that what we're trying to get to, right? To move beyond just basic needs and really creating a set of supports and systems for families where everyone can thrive.
I can tell you, I have a child who was on IEP, and she went from like a 7th, 8th grade reading level to like reading at or above her level. And I know it is absolutely due to the fact that I was able to get the income and replace the jobs I was working, and then sit down and put in the time with her to educate her and help her do assignments.
I feel like there is no hesitation. This is an awesome program. It's an awesome opportunity for anyone.
I think what we hope to learn in this pilot is really what does it mean to invest in children and families differently? But I think also, what does it mean to really invest in that future? And what is the role of government in that place and space, right? What is it that we could do in terms of braided funding? What it is in terms of public and private partnerships? What does it mean to really look holistically at a family's needs and really center like their agency and how they spend resources? Oftentimes government programs are very prescribed. Guaranteed income is not.
In terms of thinking about the state, the other piece that we do and that we think about for CollegeBound is this is great that it exists in our community, but we also often hear from communities that live outside the city that say, oh, is our city going to do that? Can we partake in this? And so how do we make sure that this is something that everybody in the state, every child in the state can be a part of?
It was about getting the right people in the right rooms with the right knowledge to be able to make this system work for families better. You had a set of people in the city of St. Paul who really didn't think that it couldn't get done. They were committed from beginning to end. There was no question in their minds that it couldn't get it done.
We all get elected based on telling a group of people, I believe in you. And then I believe we get a chance to go into the halls of government and make policy that either proves that statement true or false. And when we go into City Hall or the state capitol, or we go to Washington, D.C. and make policy that demonstrates that I think that I know better from City Hall, I think I know better from my office what your child needs, what your family needs than you do, I'm proving that I didn't really mean it when I said, I believe in you. My challenge is the Believe in You challenge. Make policy that demonstrates that you believe in, that you trust, and that you are willing to invest directly in the folks who you are here to serve. And I think you'll see there's good returns.